Hey, it's Nathan Selove with another edition of Autism Actually Speaking. Today's topic is one that I've been really looking forward to doing for a long time. Neuronormativity. Neuronormativity derives from the term heteronormativity, which for the LGBT community is the idea that heterosexuality is desirable, expected, and neutral. Therefore, neuronormativity is the idea that being neurotypical or non-autistic / not having any other cognitive conditions is desirable, expected, and natural. So we're going to go more in depth into what neuronormativity is, then discuss some of the problems that it represents, and then finally discuss ways that we can avoid it. In order to explain exactly what neuronormativity is to people, I usually start with the question, how does one embody autism? And usually the answers to this are stuff like not having eye contact, being overly sensitive to outside stimuli, not understanding social cues, making inappropriate jokes, making inappropriate comments, being just generally inappropriate, having a special interest that you obsess about and never stop talking about, being oblivious, not being able to give up points, being very argumentative, just a very long list of things that I could probably go on all day about. And then I turn the question around and ask, how does one embody neurotypicality? To which the answer is usually, understanding social cues? To which I respond, social cues being given by whom? Other neurotypicals. See, the problem is that there are so many differences between neurotypicals and autistics, but these differences are often talked about in the context of how autistics are different from neurotypicals, rather than the other way around. The problem with this is that it basically tells autistics that if you're not neurotypical, then you're not natural, neutral, desired, or expected. This then translates into public interactions that assume that any person that you meet is automatically going to be a neurotypical, which means that you interact with them as if they are a neurotypical. You hold them to the same standards as you would a neurotypical. You have the same expectations for them as you would a neurotypical. The other problem with this is that the classification of whether or not something is socially appropriate is socially constructed by neurotypicals, and it is linked with a person's virtue. So when an autistic does something socially inappropriate or argues a point in a manner that makes them sound patronizing, neuronormativity assumes that they did it because of a lack of virtue, rather than just a neurological difference. Most autistics don't mean to make you feel uncomfortable by saying socially inappropriate things, or mean to make you feel patronized when we explain our side of something. Thing is, many of us are just too hopelessly clueless to understand when that is what we are doing in your eyes. So how do we solve this? Well, for starters, don't assume people's neurotype. Now, to be clear, being autistic is not an excuse for being an ass or being verbally aggressive. However, the next time you're in public and someone that you don't know says something that's a little bit socially inappropriate, take a second and wonder, did they mean that maliciously? Or are they just a different neurotype? Another solution is to fight the narrow neuronormative narrative with comedy. 2 weeks ago, I posted a video called You Might Be Autistic If, which if you haven't seen it yet, you definitely should. But what I basically did in it is I took some of the comments that subscribers had left me about the ways that they embody autism, and we laughed at them on the channel, because it's good for us to laugh at ourselves. And in response to this video, I got a comment from BuzzinBen21 suggesting that I make a You Might Be Neurotypical If video, which I think would serve as really great agency in the fight against the narrow neuronormative narrative. So I invite you as the community to comment down below and talk about your favorite You Might Be Neurotypical Ifs statements. Discuss some of the weird, illogical things that neurotypicals do that make no damn sense. And when I get enough of them, I will make a video reading each of them. Now, to be clear, the point of this video is not to say that if you embody one of these things that you are definitely neurotypical, hence the might. Rather, the point of this is to point out that there are a lot of things that neurotypicals do that objectively do not make sense and are not logical. And when autistics see that, it's easy for us to think of y'all as the disabled ones. So leave a comment down below and give us your favorite You Might Be Neurotypical If. And feel free to participate regardless of your neurotype. Just make sure to be respectful. Well, that's today's episode. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this video, give it a like, a share, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other stuff. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or topics you'd like addressed, please leave them in the comments below. Or message me on my Facebook, also linked below. And remember, if you are on the Autism Speaks Board of Directors, you might be neurotypical.